Hello, this is Jack McCreary, and today I am interviewing my mother, Kimberly McCreary.
Hello.
I'd like to ask you a few questions if that's okay.
Yes, it is.
All right, so when is your birthday?
I was born November 6th, 1967.
That'd make you 51, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. Describe your childhood for us.
Well, I grew up for most of my childhood on a very rural farm in Pennsylvania. We had a lot of animals, almost any kind of animal you could think of. We raised horses, we had cows, we had chickens, pigs, goats, and lived very far out of town.
All right. Tell me a little bit about your adult life.
Well, right now, live in the city of Casa Grande. Do not live in rurally. We live in the heart of Casa Grande in town, and own two businesses.
All right. Now for the main questions. What was one historical event that you experienced prior to 2001?
The thing that comes to mind for me was the death of the teacher who was on the Challenger space shuttle, Krista McAuliffe. I was 19 at the time, and I remember the year before the launch, in January of 1986, that year before, there had been a nationwide search for a teacher to be able to ride with the astronauts in the Challenger launch. And it was a really huge, sensationalized event. And I know thousands and thousands of teachers applied for the honor of being able to go along on the launch. And Krista McAuliffe was chosen. I remember she was a pretty young teacher, but she did have a family. She had two young children, and they tracked her life during that time in 1985 and showed her preparations with NASA, all the training she had to go through. And so it was really a big event leading up to that. And so in January of 1986, when the launch was televised, her husband and her children were in the stands, her family, and it was just really a very big deal. And it was about a minute or two after takeoff that the shuttle exploded. And so the cameras, immediately went to her family, and just the devastation, the unbelief of the trauma of seeing something like that was just really stayed with me.
How does an event impact your daily life?
Well, at the time, being pretty young, just being 19 years old, I was pretty self-focused. Didn't really reach out or really think a whole lot about the trauma or the hurts of other people necessarily. And when I watched that, and as everything unfolded, even afterwards, the investigations and the highlights of her family, and just that really the tragedy that it really impacted me in that way, that it really made me think a lot more about the traumas that other people go through, and how it affects them. So I guess you would say it probably made me more of an empathetic person and thinking about other people more.
All right, well, I think that's all the questions we have for today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.